Democrats and Republicans in Congress need to reach an agreement over the government spending bill by February 15th. And it appears that they're having a difficult time agreeing on anything. And as a result, it's more likely that Donald Trump will declare a national emergency in order to secure the funding that he wants for that border wall. Now, the funding wouldn't be given to him through Congress. It would be funding that he would take away from emergency relief projects, money that's been allocated for those projects. Now, here's what Trump said via Twitter. Republicans on the Homeland Security Committee are wasting their time. Democrats, despite all of the evidence, proof, and caravans coming, are not going to give money to build the desperately needed wall. I've got you covered. Wall is already being built. I don't expect much help. Okay, so first, let me just note, and I believe this is the second time on the show, that the intelligence assessment just recently came out. That is an annual report where the intelligence community lists all the threats that the United States needs to look out for. The real, possible imminent dangers. And listed in there, or nowhere listed in there, I should say, was this issue of the border wall. That is not a national emergency. You know it, I know it, the American people know it. And so Trump is doing anything and everything he can to get what he wants, and he's willing to declare a national emergency to do just that.
Yes, and let's also note that the wall costs $20 to $70 billion. He's asking for 5.7, so it's all symbolic, it's all political. It wouldn't fully build a wall, so this is just gamesmanship.
Exactly. Now he also says he's now moving away from the steel slats. He's more defiant now, more emboldened, I guess. He says, let's just call them walls from now on and stop playing political games. A wall is a wall. Okay, very, very bold.
Okay, so let's note for the record that the person who was calling it steel slats was Donald Trump. He also called it fencing. He also called it whatever you want to call it. Okay, so now apparently he's done with those political games. I didn't call them political games, although I did, but he called them political games. So we apparently both agree that it was political games that he was playing when he was calling it steel slats or whatever you want, okay? That's when Nancy Pelosi famously said, maybe we should call it a beaded curtain.
So a number of White House officials anonymously spoke to Politico and made it abundantly clear that Trump is in fact drafting the plans for declaring a national emergency. The goal is to have a national emergency declaration 100% ready and coordinated should Trump decide to move on it, rather than scrambling ex post facto to draw up and justify one. So again, the deadline is February 15th. It does not appear that Democrats and Republicans in Congress have come up with a deal. But when it comes to the issue of declaring a national emergency, there is some division among Republicans, and it would be interesting to see how that plays out.
There's also division between Republicans and Trump on what to call it, because even though you just saw Trump say, we're gonna call it a wall, no more political games. Kevin McCarthy, the leader of the Republicans in the House now, says, well, it could be a barrier. It doesn't have to be a wall. Okay, they can't get on the same page. To be fair to the Trump administration, preparing ahead of time for the national emergency would be the first time ever that they are actually preparing ahead of time. So it's a bad idea to do it, but if you're gonna do it, you should prepare ahead of time. And so this is unprecedented for them. Good news.
What day is it today?
Today's Thursday.
No, I know, but like the date, the actual, I literally don't know what the date. Okay, January 31st. Today's January 31st. They need to come up with a deal by February 15th. And the Trump administration is drafting a national emergency declaration today, right?
That's
so
right.
More than 2 weeks before the spending bill negotiations need to come to some sort of agreement. Well, that's not a national emergency.
Yeah. Also, if it's such a national emergency, why didn't you do it 2 years ago? Okay, so finally we get to the issue of is he also now subverting those negotiations and being counterproductive? The answer to that is, of course. So what he doesn't, I don't know, I guess he doesn't realize it, is that the Democrats actually are willing to give him some money for national security and some money for what they're calling border security. So he actually does have some leeway with Democrats. So what did Democrats? They didn't want to do it while there was a government shutdown, and they said that. They said we might do it later, but we don't want to do it during the government shutdown. So that's an opening. If I'm Trump, I think, oh, good, I could actually maybe get a win out of this, right? And then they started talking about, well, I mean, maybe it's kind of a smart wall. Hey, they just used the word wall. That's an opening, and I'd want to coordinate with the Republicans in Congress and encourage them to take that opening. Instead, as usual, the knucklehead goes and goes, don't worry about it, okay? He said, they're, quote, wasting their time. And then he went on to say, I've got you covered. Wall is already being built. I don't expect much help. Okay, but you just told the Democrats, hey, don't give anything to the Republicans because I'm gonna do a national emergency anyway. And a national emergency that the Republicans are not backing me on and that will take 2 years to go through the courts. So you just took away any incentive the Democrats have to offer concessions. Because as usual, you have no idea how to negotiate and you're not very bright.
The TYT Plus app is now available on iOS and Android. Download to get more TYT content at tyt.com/app.